you all now. So the request that Linda put out was for a class that would contain all of the things that I tend to do in my practice when I'm not teaching, but just for myself, and that tend to be kind of my self-care. So we'll do that on December 17th, Thursday, December 17th, we'll do that. And a lot of them are things that we already do in these practices. But yeah, we'll do that because that would be fun. So we're gonna get into glutes and hamstrings and neck and some twisting. So those are some of the things that have been requested this morning. Good morning, everyone. Go ahead and take a moment to set yourself up really well. The other thing that we're focusing on for the next couple of weeks are some very specific, some traditional, some not so traditional breath work, or pranayama is the Sanskrit for breath work. Pranayama within that Sanskrit word is the word prana. And so prana, as most of you probably know or have the concept of, is the all-encompassing life force energy. It's always present, but sometimes, depending on what we're doing, say maybe if we're stressed and we're holding our breath or something like that, then prana gets a little bit stunted within us. And so many of the things that we do in our yoga practice can help that energy flow a little bit more thoroughly, more evenly, in a more balanced way. And breath work is so key for opening up all those energy channels to allow the prana to flow well. And so this morning, the breath work that we're going to do is very similar to something that we have done in the past, because we often come to a basic three-part breath. So our three-part breath fills up the belly, the rib cage, and the chest. The belly expands out, the ribs expand to the side, and the chest expands up. When we add a little bit more detail to that three-part breath, then we actually add pauses. And those pauses are meant to help us digest the prana on a cellular level, just a little bit. And so to start off with, let's take a hand to the belly. Let your eyes close. And as you take a couple deep breaths here, think of focusing the breath just into the belly. It does move other places, but think of expanding and contracting the belly. Inhale to expand. And exhale to release the belly. Full inhale, long exhale. Deep inhale, deep exhale. And now bring a hand up to the side of the ribs. And now you're going to bring the breath into the belly and the ribs. Inhale, belly, ribs. Exhale, ribs, belly. Inhale, belly, ribs. Exhale, ribs, belly. A couple more times. Inhaling and exhaling. And now moving one of your hands, it doesn't matter which one, up to your chest. Now we're going to feel the belly, the ribs, the chest expand, and chest, ribs, belly release. Inhale, belly, ribs, chest. Exhale, chest, ribs, belly. A couple more, inhaling and exhaling. And now bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the heart, and we'll feel a pause at the top of each of these sections. We'll inhale into the belly and pause. Inhale into the ribs and pause. Inhale into the chest and pause. And exhale through all three. Belly pause. Ribs pause. Chest pause. Exhale through all three. At your own pace now, we're going to take about 5 more of these breaths, finding that pause at the top of each section. And now releasing this breath, releasing your hands down, and simply take a natural breath to feel whatever's present for sensation from these breaths. And now softly opening your eyes. Let's take right ear over to your right shoulder. Roll your left shoulder blade down your back a few times. Starting to tune into that side of your neck, down into maybe your shoulder, even into your traps. Whatever is showing up, notice for yourself. And now you're keeping your left shoulder blade on your back and then tucking your chin up and down, keeping the sideways tilt of your head. Inhale, come back up to center, and exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Right shoulder blade moves onto your back a few times, just rolling your shoulder. And now keeping your right shoulder blade on your back, keeping this tilt of your head. Now tuck your chin up and down a few times. And since we're not symmetrical beings, take a moment to notice how this side feels compared to the other side. Inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, right ear to right shoulder. Take a hold of the side of your head with your right hand if that feels okay. And now we're going to move our left neck muscles out to the left and our left jawline out to the left. So a little bit of a lean of the muscles. Take a big deep breath. Then inhale, come back up to center. Exhale, left ear to left shoulder. Take a hold of the side of your head with your left hand. And now that lean over to the right side with your neck muscles and your jaw. Take a big breath. Inhale, come back up to center. Roll both shoulders back. And now keep shoulders up and back. Tilt your chin up toward the ceiling. And then your chin down toward the ground. And as you move in this way, tilting up and tilting down, keep your shoulder blades engaged. Keep your shoulders up and back. And now back into center, switch the cross of your legs if you're sitting cross-legged. Shift your sitting bones. And now gratitude arms. We know and love this one. This is a great way to expand and open through our chest. Elbows are hugged in. You're rotating with your arms so your thumbs are moving toward the wall behind you. And then add the movement up and down with shoulder blades. So often when we have something going on in neck or in shoulders or in the upper back somewhere, then all these things are so connected that tightness might be happening someplace else other than where you feel it. So just notice for yourself as you do some of these movements, what's showing up and where. Take a big deep breath. Now keep shoulder blades on your back and re-rotate, sending your thumbs a little bit further back. Engage your low ribs. Inhale, lift your chest up a little bit further. Now this time, exhale, bring your fingertips to connect in front of you. Ballerina arms, your elbows are lifted to shoulder height. Push your fingertips together, expand into your upper back, your chin tucks in. And now we'll get a little further down into our backs with a little side-to-side movement with the shoulders, letting your lats get a little bit of a stretch. Whatever else you might be feeling. Again, notice for yourself what's showing up. Inhale, sit tall. This time, bring hands behind the back to clasp. Pressing palms together, lift your shoulders up and back. Hug your elbows back. And as always, we're keeping the elbow joints unlocked, so a little bent. Palms pressing, take a big inhale and lift your chest a little higher. Exhale, engage through the core. Low belly, low ribs, draw in. Inhale, chest lifts a little higher. Maybe you move your hands away from your back, but stay palms pressing and elbows hugging toward each other. Good, then release your hands, and this time hands to clasp in front of you, pull forward and round back through your spine, your chin tucks in toward your chest. One more time, that side to side movement with your shoulders, allowing for more length and stretch through the sides of your back. Inhale, sit tall. And we're going to shift forward onto hands and knees. And as you come forward onto hands and knees, feel free to add a blanket underneath your knees for support if you would like. But set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. From this place, push palms and fingertips down, and then rotate elbow pits forward. You have that expansion into your upper arm bones. Push with your hands to expand into your upper back. And now tuck your toes under and lift your hips up and back, downward facing dog. Take a moment to pedal out, bending one knee at a time. As you bend one knee at a time, keep your shoulders stationary, keep them still, even as your hips find some movement. And now your choice, you can come down onto your knees or you can stay in downward dog. We're gonna lift the right leg to the sky. We don't often do this because I like to be able to see people here. Hips level, think of your left hip crease moving back in space. Whether you're on your hands and knees or whether you're in down dog, shift that left hip back and then push from your lats out through your hands. On your exhale, left foot releases back down. Right foot, sorry. Inhale, left leg lifts. Send your right hip crease back in space. Think of leveling off the hips. Now push from the lats out through the hands. Now exhale, left foot back to the ground. Knees down, hips draw all the way back toward your heels into a child's pose. And in this child's pose, feel free to take the variation that works the best on your body. So maybe that's bent elbows, hands behind the head. Maybe that's arms reaching back alongside you. You decide what feels the best to your body for 2 more deep breaths. Inhaling, rise to hands and knees. And exhaling, if you'd like, downward facing dog pose. And this time, we're going to use that lifted leg to help us turn open and to step forward. So again, hands and knees is always an option. Inhale, lift your right leg. Press your left thigh back, evening out your hips first. Keep your left thigh pressing back, even as you turn your right hip up. Take a big deep breath and push from the lats out through the hands. Reach through your right heel. Then on your exhale, we're stepping forward with the right foot in between the hands. You're welcome to have blocks here underneath your hands if you would like. Send your right hip crease back in space. Extend your heart forward. Take a deep breath. And now set Left hand on a block or the floor on the edge of your mat, right hand to your knee. And from here, you can always bring your back knee down. That's always an option. Put both shoulder blades on your back and stretch. Right arm to the sky. Take a deep breath. On your exhale, both hands come back down to your mat and step back to either hands and knees or downward facing dog pose. Big deep breath. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Send sitting bones up, especially in your downward facing dog pose, and then lift your left leg to the sky. Again, hips come to center. Think of pressing the outer right hip back. Reach longer through your left heel. Keep your right hip pressing back even as you turn up and open with your left hip. Shoulders stay stationary. Keep the twist in the hips. On your exhale, you're stepping forward with your left foot in between your hands. Again, you can always have blocks underneath your hands here. Center off with your hips, extend your heart forward, take a full big breath. Set your right hand on a block or the floor on the edge of your mat. Left hand to your knee as you start to turn your belly and your heart to the left side. Again, back knee can always be down. Shoulder blades on your back, and then stretch. Left arm up if that feels good. Think of aiming your palm toward the left side. Sometimes when we stretch up, we end up turning through the arm in a funny way. But think of palm facing the left, arms straight out from your shoulder. Exhale, both hands come down to the front of your mat and settle all the way back into a down dog or hands and knees. Rotate elbow pits forward and push. Sending sitting bones up. Now engage your low glutes and engage your low belly. Lift your low ribs up a little ways. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Knees on the ground if you want. Rotate elbow pits forward. Stay pushing, expanding into the upper back. Extend your front ribs. But then tone, low belly to low ribs. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Hands walk back right by your rib cage. Press down with tops of feet. Press down with knees. And now pull low belly in and low ribs in. Inhale, curl up and open as high as your body needs, thinking of shoulders staying back, long through your neck. Big deep breath. Exhale, downward facing dog or hands and knees. And now walk your way forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Hands to blocks if you want, but feet are inner hip distance apart and parallel. A little bend to your knees here. Take an inhale and lengthen. Hands above your knees. So our joints get to stay unlocked here. Send your sitting bones up. Extend your heart. Exhale, fold over your legs. And again, be conscious of whether or not you tend to send your knees back too far and keep a little micro bend. Now hands to hips, knees bent, squeeze your glutes as you start to lift shoulders up and inhale, rise, all the way to stand. From standing, find feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. And we're gonna take a little bit of twist in this first balance. So if you want to, you can always be standing next to a wall. I'm gonna balance first on our right foot. Bring our left knee up into our hands and give a flex to your left foot. Toes draw up. Wrap your left hip down and now take your left thumb into your hip crease and give a little push down. This lengthens your left side, evens your hips out a little bit. Now standing knee, give it a little bit of a bend. It wants to lock oftentimes. Squeeze your right glute and stand taller. Now exhale, low ribs draw in to help you twist to the left. You might have your left hand on a wall here, but lift through your sides, lift through your heart. Take a big deep breath. Maybe you reach back with your left arm, and instead of reaching back, think straight out from your shoulder. Plug your shoulder blade onto your back. Deep breath. Inhale, come back in the center. Give your knee a squeeze. And exhale, foot back to the ground. And now find your balance onto your left foot. Right knee draws into your hands. Give your foot a flex. And then pause and notice your standing knee. A little bend to your standing knee. Squeeze your glute for that support to push down. Now your left hand stays at your knee, right thumb into your hip crease. Press your hip crease down and lift up through your spine. Exhale, low ribs draw in to help you twist. And then if you want to, you can reach straight out from your shoulder, not back, but in line with your chest. Take a big deep breath. Inhale, come back into center. And exhale, release both feet to the ground. Feet are inner hip distance apart and parallel. Hands together at your heart. Close your eyes and take a full, big, deep breath. Good. Softly open your eyes. And now we're going to take a wide stance on our mats. And I have two mats here, so I'm going to use the other one. You can turn yourself sideways on your mat if you would like. And with that wide stance, take a look at the pinky toe edges of your feet and turn them parallel to each other. That means your heels turn a little more out. And as you do that, the muscles of your glutes actually expand a little bit and create room for your low back. So a little bend to your knees here. Take your hands to your upper thighs and even think of rotating inner thighs inward as you start to push your hips back, draw your heart forward, hinge from your hips, and fold over your legs. Your hands can always come up to blocks or whatever prop you have. And then extend your heart forward as you start to pedal out, bending one knee at a time, working through some of that hamstring, hip, and low back stuff that we all know and love. And as you bend one knee at a time, make sure to avoid locking the opposite knee joint. And then come back into a neutral place with a little softness to your knees or a big bend. It depends on where you are in your body today. Send your sitting bones up, but don't let your knees lock back. Then as you send your hands down to the ground or your elbows down to something, or maybe you even reach back behind you or take a hold of the outsides of your legs, pause for a moment wherever you are and notice. You might even reach a hand up to your low back and try to find that bend to your knees enough that you can tilt even more upward with sitting bones so that you can maybe take out a round in your low back. Take another big deep breath wherever you are. And now, you're going to walk your hands forward, coming into more of a wide-legged down dog position. And you can use blocks here or hands on the floor, whichever feels the best. But now, as you reach forward, send your sitting bones up. Take a deep breath and rotate elbow pits forward, rotate upper arm bones. Take a deep, full inhale, long, deep exhale. And now walk your hands back in and you're going to bring hands up to your hips. Knees bent, squeeze your glutes, start to lift up through your shoulders and rise all the way up. Walk your feet inner hip distance apart and parallel. Lift and spread your toes and then root them down. Take hands together at your heart. Close your eyes and take a full deep breath. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, fold over your legs. And from this forward fold, take a couple of moments to sway a little bit. You might bend your knees considerably, hold on to elbows or let your arms hang. But take a little side to side movement with your torso. And then plant your hands and step back onto hands and knees. And from hands and knees, push down with the palms, rotate elbow pits forward. And as you expand into your upper back, grow longer, reaching collarbones forward. Sitting bones lift up. And now pass right arm through underneath your left to come down onto your right shoulder, side of your head. Maybe you bring a block, a pillow, or a bolster underneath your head or your shoulder here, coming into a spinal twist. So as you take this twist, you can always come a little deeper into it if it feels good, walking your left fingertips a little further forward and inching your shoulder a little further underneath. Take a deep, full inhale, long, full exhale. Then gently unwind, come back to your hands and knees and reset. As you grow longer through your spine, again, find that rotation of your upper arm bones and push. Send your sitting bones up just slightly and then pass left arm underneath your right, again, to come down onto your shoulder, side of your head. Maybe use your right fingertips to help you inch a little further underneath. Deep breath. And then gently unwind back to hands and knees. And then you're going to come all the way down to sitting bones. And then all the way down onto your back, making sure you have all your props handy. And then from that place, as you pull knees up close to your chest, rock a couple times side to side. And now knees open wide, aim your feet up toward the ceiling. Hold on first around your thighs. And then tilt your pelvis so your sitting bones are moving down. You're creating a little lumbar curve, a little lift through your low back. Keep that and reach up as high as your body is ready for without flattening your low back down. Okay, so trying to keep that natural and healthy curve through your back. From here, rock a little side to side. And even start to add the hamstring extension if you want to. As you rock to the left, you reach your left leg long and straight. As you rock to the right, you reach your right leg long and straight. As you do this, try to keep that awareness at your low back, maintaining that lumbar curve or as much of it as you can. This is a tough position for that. Then back into center, footprints to the floor, drop your knees in together to touch. Take your hands to your upper thighs, right up at your hip creases, and give your hip creases a push, your upper thighs a push, like you're trying to push them away from you. Letting your lumbar spine lift. Start to close your eyes here and tune into a full breath. Take a soft 3-part breath, that's in your practice. Not tuning into those pauses, but just noticing belly, ribs, and chest expanding. Chest, ribs, belly releasing as you inhale and exhale. And then pick the position for yourself that feels the best for Shavasana. Maybe laying all the way out against the ground. Maybe propping yourself. Take whatever variation of Shavasana that serves your body and your mind right now for a few moments. Begin to take a deeper breath. Add some gentle movement into fingers and into toes. As you're ready to, you're bending your knees and rolling to the side. And then gently push yourself up to your seat. As you connect, palms together at heart center, eyes closed, take a moment to return to that 3-part breath. Slowly filling belly, ribs, and chest as you inhale. Slowly releasing back through chest, ribs, belly as you exhale. Have a very peaceful and beautiful day. Namaste. Thanks, guys.